Let's get started. Thanks for coming, everybody.
All right. Thank you very much, Sarah. So thank you, everyone, for joining us this morning, especially for those joining us from Florida. Seems like we have a strong presence from Florida coming in today. So as we join forces today, you're going to see a combination between Club Automation and Technogym and how we're working through and examining the personalized experiences and use of technology really to transform the experiences within your club. So that'll be our main focus today. But before we begin, I wanted to do some brief introductions here. So next slide, Marissa. First and foremost, my name is Wade Williams. I'm our Director of Key Accounts at Daxco. I would also like to introduce Patrick Wellington. He's a Senior Digital Sales Specialist at Technogym. And I've had the pleasure of working with Patrick on site, both with Club Automation and spending time with Technogym too as well. The energy, experience, just suggestions, and the overall fluency of operations that Patrick brings to the table is very, very valuable. He spent about, I want to say, a decade in club operations, as did I. Molly is the only one still in club operations, and I like to say maybe they keep the good ones, Molly. So Patrick and I are maybe no longer as an operator, but today as we're presenting the use of technology and the impact it can make on your member experience, you're getting this information directly from operators. So I think that's fundamentally different as you're looking at technology. It's just not the use of technology, not presented by technologists, product teams, engineering. It's how you can really leverage technology within your organization to drive the member experience. We all know that usage is up. That's pretty synonymous throughout the entire country at this point, no matter what brand of fitness you're in, mid-market, large multi-purpose, usage is up. We're seeing membership return to as well. So what we'll focus on today is really the fluency of leveraging technology for your member experience, driving operational efficiencies, and how we drive the long-term value of your member. So next slide, Marissa. So the agenda, just to review, we're going to go through the importance of integration. So you'll hear a lot of buzzwords, especially as you talk to us on the SaaS side and technology, CRM. You'll hear integrations and APIs. We're going to demystify a lot of that and what that really means for an operator. Then we'll go through the ultimate end-to-end experience. So we'll map that out all the way from the interest in first joining Patrick's gym, all the way through the experience and post-join, and how are you really looking at the personalized experience after somebody joins your facility? Or is that a blind spot for you? Once they join your club, are they simply entering, jumping on the treadmill? My Technogym friends will know, press the big green button. Like there's things that you look within facilities, once they join, a lot of clubs become blind, right? You miss out on that opportunity to retain your member. So we'll look at the ultimate end-to-end experience. Then we'll go through the member journey and highlight some items that Technogym's working on right now to really make this a personalized experience. And then, of course, bring on Molly Smeltzer. She's the Executive Director of Lake Nona. She's utilizing the current integration between Club Automation and Technogym very seamlessly. So we'll hear from Molly as well. Next slide, Marissa. All right, so the importance of integration. So I'd like to boil this down to what an integration really is. An integration essentially ensures that data flows seamlessly between software platforms, usually via API. So simply taking data from your member management solution to, say, your member retention solution or your CRM, could be vice versa, but you're taking data from one solution to another via API. All the API really is a mechanism that enables two software components to communicate to each other seamlessly. It's no more complicated than that. The benefit of this, once you have an integration, you look at your member management solution to, say, your member experience platform. Today, we're looking at My Wellness. It gives you the ability to reduce the risk of errors and data inconsistencies due to manual entry. So think about when somebody joins your member management solution. Today, we're looking at Club Automation. They enter in all of their information, membership information. They have their check-ins, member source, their user data. All of that lives within Club Automation. That logically should not have to be re-entered when they go to their onboarding session. Any trainers that are on the call today probably go through that, and it's a bit of a headache when you have an unintegrated solution outside of your member management platform. Because essentially the first 5-10 minutes of your session, very nice to meet you, Patrick. Let's take all of your information down again. Naturally, Patrick's going to give us a different email. He might spell his name wrong. There's other things that might happen in there that will create data inconsistencies. When you have an integration, it's seamless from member management to a My Wellness. All of that information is pulled over. I don't want to confuse anybody. It's not a pure extension of your software platform. It's choosing select data points to integrate from member management to My Wellness. So going through that process, and just let's bring this to a staff or a team member level too, as well, as I have a big heart for people that are in the fitness space being an operator in the past. When you have a member management solution and another platform that's integrated, you're also taking out the processes and the pain and the drain on your team of dual entry. And you're going through the process of just kind of that monotonous step of re-entering information that you already have under your facility's roof. So we're making this process streamlined. So again, the importance of an integration is creating seamless experiences for your members. And the next three kind of get bundled together. Because as you're creating a seamless experience for your member through onboarding, now they go to their first onboarding session, kickstart session, whatever you like to call it within your facility. That's really the start of their experience, right? That's the start of the experience within your facility. How do we connect those people to offerings and connect people to those offerings via personal training? Could be swim lessons, could be group training. It doesn't necessarily matter, but the connectivity of that member is there. That will drive your retention rate, and that will drive additional revenue opportunities. It's a clear measurement from when somebody goes through the onboarding sessions and consistently rolls through your facility to drive your long-term retention, which Molly will speak to. They do this very well at Lake Nona. When somebody joins through Club Automation, they go to My Wellness. We have an account already created, so it's a seamless process all the way in. Molly will speak to how long Lake Nona has been around, but the uptake is very strong in their kickstart sessions, their initial sessions, because of these integrations. So we'll just kind of demystify what an integration is. It's not a scary technology term. It's essentially exchanging data from a member management solution as the source of truth to a third party, whether that be a retention platform, could be data analytics. It doesn't necessarily matter, but look at the third parties and make sure that's integrated. Right, that's what we're focusing on today. What are those key data points that will move your business forwards? Next slide, Marissa. All right, this is probably my favorite slide, and I know it drives Marissa a little crazy, but probably my favorite slide within that we present based upon your tech stack on how you have it built out. So I would challenge every operator on the call today to take a look at your technology solutions. Go through this same exercise. Map out your technology solutions. Put your member management platform in the center as the source of truth, right? That's your system of record. That's when somebody joins, who bills them, it goes right through the center. That's the heartbeat of your technology, your tech stack within your organization. Then draw lines throughout, right? So look at all the other platforms you have. From there, call out the breakpoints. What ends up happening is when you don't have an integration, now you're managing siloed software. You could have islands of data within that software. A lot of operators get into the scenario is where they begin this process. They have a member management solution. They might add something for a personal training. They might add experience. They might add MXM Medallia, something along those lines, right? And as their business grows and their needs grow, their technology solutions start to grow, but things aren't integrated, right? And at some point you get so busy, and I'm sure Molly can attest this, you get so busy just working in your business that you don't take a step back and see what the technology foundation really is. And this is actually something Molly did. So she maybe not. So she's something she did. She looked at her tech stack and said, what makes sense to be integrated and what makes sense for us to move forward? Or do we have 18 software platforms? Are we using best in class software for personal training, scheduling, SMS communication, but we're managing all these siloed platforms? So I think the key to that is just go through that exercise, understand where your breakpoints are, and then see, is an integration needed there, right? Or can you live with managing one siloed platform there? I'm not saying everything needs to be integrated, but it's a good exercise for operators to focus on, because you'll have more streamlined operations. And what I would always say, and it might be interesting from us discussing this, but you have the ability to then look at your tech spend and look at the impact it's making within your organization, right? You don't need to have 18 software platforms to run a facility. Realistically, you might lose 25%, but are you gaining 50% by streamlining and integrating solutions? Next slide, Marissa. All right, so the end-to-end experience. So we talked through integrations. The one we're going to focus on today is a member management solution of Club Automation that is pushing data directly to Technogym. So Club Automation member management platform manages all your memberships, reporting, everything's in the source of truth, right in the center, the nucleus of what you just saw. Technogym manages everything post-join where member management platforms lose visibility. So what we've done with the integration on the data exchange, you could see the first line, and Patrick will cover the last membership status, but you could see on the first line an active member sync. During the onboarding process, somebody joins Lake Nona. The information is then converted directly to My Wellness. So through that integration, that automatically occurs, right? So nothing else has to happen. A member then comes to their onboarding session and they've already now have an account in My Wellness. So that integration, there's no miss, there's no dual entry. You won't miss a member onboarding at this point that could then impact their long-term retention. So that active member sync is simply somebody joins Lake Nona, they already go to My Wellness and they begin their onboarding strategy. Makes it much more simple on your team and you don't lose any data points through that process. The next one is group privileges. So I think this one's a little bit more in depth, but through My Wellness, and I know Patrick could speak to this in the future, but through My Wellness, there's different levels of access for example, you can get prescribed sessions and things through My Wellness. And what we would do is layer those groups of privileges based upon your membership types. So if Lake Nona had a bronze membership, a silver membership, a gold membership, they all have different access rights within the third-party solution being Technogym. So we automatically pull those access rights from Club Automation to Technogym. So Patrick signed up for a gold membership. He gets everything under My Wellness. He then downgrades to bronze. We start to remove items here and we automatically kick those levels over. Nothing your team has to do. If you think about this process between active member sync and now group privileges, seems so simple via integration. Back that up to doing this manually. Right, so if you do this process manually, no doubt in my mind, there will be misses, there'll be data issues, company gets busy, 5 o'clock on a Monday, people are signing up, it's something that gets pushed back. So then you start to miss that onboarding process. Even push back, the good operators will still follow up, obviously, with a new join, but it will get pushed back a week, 2 weeks, right? These integrations then make sure that our processes are seamless. And I will now pass to Patrick for membership status to cover that piece.
Yeah, I think not only when you think about the membership status, and also, by the way, good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. And thank you, Club Automation, for this opportunity to speak on the spring into fitness and revitalizing those gym experiences. To Wade's point, not only can you think about delaying a new member's touch point and orientation, but you're also dealing with not touching them at all, right? They join, they may not show up for an assessment, orientation. They go right to what they hoped was going to get them to shape, and you don't hear from them or have any type of communication with them again. So when we think about that membership status, we can, from the My Wellness CRM, automate a member journey. So I think that's a really important piece. And if you'll go to the next slide, I want to highlight this. So in this example, this is ideal for every member coming through your club. We want to get some baseline information. We want to show them how to book their classes, get an understanding of what their goals and their needs and their likes are. And of course, providing information so they understand these are the experiences that my club offers that are going to keep me going and reaching my fitness, goals. So this is one example of a member journey. But when we talk again about the membership status, the My Wellness CRM is going to key in on that status, and we can automate the journey. So take, for example, they don't show up for an assessment/orientation. We can ping them automatically to receive an email, fill out a custom questionnaire that may then prompt to, say, a personal trainer that says, we haven't seen this person face to face, but we certainly see that they're interested in personal training, group fitness, running classes, or more. So the ability to automate this member journey, have follow-up touches, and of course, what happens when they don't visit the club? We want to automate some type of push notification or outreach. So ultimately, we know our end goal is to retain these members. So having an automated journey based off their status, but also what activities they like. So if you can understand based off the CRM, what they're logging into, what classes they're booking, we can create an experience that's going to keep them a member for a lifetime. And we have a video now to highlight those features to integrate.
What if you could discover what makes people move and guide them into a journey where they achieve their goals? A training variety programmed to raise the bar, step by step until perfection, and to be there when they give it their all, whether it's at the gym or anywhere else. Imagine inspiring everyone to be the best version of themselves and driving them to never give up an inch, even if you are miles away, allowing them to push their limits so that when they finish a session, they can't wait to start the next one. Launching challenges and seeing if they learn the rules just to break them. And when they win, you win. This is not about one single athlete. It's for all of the ones who chase their dreams, those who don't settle for immediate success because they keep going until they change their life. This is a journey where every effort is recognized. And when we get to the finish line, it'll just be the start of a new story.
So to elaborate on that video, a couple of examples. Let's say you have a running class, and as soon as someone logs into one of our connected pieces of equipment, say on the treadmill, that could automatically place that member into an automation that says, hey, we have running classes on Wednesday, Saturdays at 9 a.m. Or if they complete a class and you want to promote a secondary spend at your cafe smoothie bar for recovery. So once the member does an activity, we can have an automatic touch so that they're going to understand, these things are available to me. But again, back to that retention piece, and also bringing awareness to the experiences that they may not even know are offered to them. So I think that's really important. Okay, looking at the time, I know we want to get to the star of today, which is certainly Molly. So I want to bring back and ask Molly a question back to the beginning point, which is, first off, I should, do a better intro for Molly, which is I've worked with Molly for, I think, almost closing in on 8 years between Technogym and her previous site that she operated. So we've known each other for a very long time. She's, of course, the director at Lake Nona Performance Club today. And Molly, what I would like to ask you is, how did you know that this integration was key for the Lake Nona Performance Club? And what was the early experience for you guys there?
Sure. Well, thanks for having me. Really excited to be able to share some of my story and really Club Automation and my Wellness Technogym, how it's supported our members in both sites that I've been at with IWP, the company that I work for, Integrated Wellness Partners. So really, really happy to be here. But I was very familiar with my wellness from, working with it over the past 5 years prior to coming to Lake Nona. Really loved the guidance and support, the member onboarding, biometric data that it supported and gave our members in Illinois. So I knew that was obviously a big differentiator for us. But to your question, specifically towards our integration with Club Automation, I didn't decide all by myself. We have almost 10,000 members here, and we have 12 different department leads, managers, coordinators, and we meet on a weekly basis to just talk about our members, how we're serving them, how do we engage with them, how do we manage attrition. And we looked specifically about a year and a half ago, about halfway, we're almost 3 years open now. So about a year and a half ago, we looked at, all right, what happens in the first 120 days of a member experience? And how are we managing engagement during that most crucial time, that 120 first days? And everybody in the meeting had an opinion, and almost all of them pointed to, we need more consistent ways to engage, and we need less apps. We have way too many apps. So people are going to one app for this and one app for that. They can see their data on My Wellness, but our coaches are tracking it on Nona Analytics. They're scheduling their classes on My Wellness, but our instructors are gauging attendance on Group X Pro. So it all came down to, we need to provide a better experience for our staff, but more importantly, our members. And we needed to integrate something that on the member side would provide biometric data, support on equipment, an opportunity to have online scheduling. They could review bios from coaches, group exercise instructors. And then on our end, a way for us to actually track data points. What are people using? When are they coming in? How often are they exercising? A way for us to actually engage with our members more specifically towards, you mentioned it a little bit, Patrick, if they are weekend exercisers, how are we inviting them to events that we host on the weekend? If they're checking in the mornings, what are we offering, coffee social hours and, run clubs, things like that happen. So it gave us an opportunity to really dip into and market to our members. But also a way for us to market to our leads. Wade, you had mentioned that everybody that signs up for a membership at the Lake Nona Performance Club is automatically entered into our Club Automation, or automatically entered into Technogym My Wellness account. Well, so are our leads. So any tours, any prospects, anybody that comes in, they don't join and become a member, that's okay. They still have an account. And we can send out, notifications. You don't have to be a member to do our personal training, to use our spa. So it not only gives us a way to connect with our members, but to continue to connect with those potential members down the line. So very long answer to your question, Patrick, but all of those are the reasons why we knew we needed to integrate and how it's really helped us, during this integration and past the integration.
All right, Patrick, can I jump in and ask a question here too?
Yep, go for it.
All right. So Molly, one of the things that I've seen, and I've been to Lake Nona Performance Club, and I've seen the impact that you've had on the integration process. It's been immensely successful so far. One of the things I wanted to look at are, what are the plans for the future to leverage the integration of Club Automation and Technogym to continue to revitalize Lake Nona Performance Clubs based upon around member experience? So I know you walked us through that a bit.
Yeah.
What does it look like today, and maybe what it looks like in the near future based upon some of the learnings that you've had maybe?
Yeah, so we knew priority number one was really to get our members onto My Wellness, right? So we went through the integration with Club Automation. We needed them all to have accounts. So that happened about 6 months ago. Now we've been doing a phased approach to really, again, make the experience seamless for them. So our first phase was really staff understanding, member understanding. So we were promoting challenges, getting people on there, engaging with them, getting them comfortable with the app. And then just this month, we really rolled out group exercise. All of our group exercise is now on there. They can choose their bike in the cycle class, their reformer in the mind body zone. Our instructors can greet them by name. Our members get to see the instructors by, they don't always know their name, but they know what they look like. So now they can see that they teach other classes. So the group exercise has been our big dive right now into the integration. Next month, we will roll out all of our personal training, online PT sales, dietitian sales, along with scheduling. So one of the biggest issues that we had as far as engagement was our members would sign up, and then if they didn't get their initial assessment scheduled at point of sign up, we were reaching out to them then. Our coaches were via email. We're calling them. We're trying to track them down to get into that. We call it a launch, but their initial assessment, the most crucial, critical touch point in my eyes, right? It's where you connect with somebody. It's where our coaches, they make fun of me, but they're wellness navigators. They're actually navigating them where they need to be in this facility to reach their goals and to stay here. So if that's not happening at point of sign up, we are trying to track them down. Well, now with this integration, Wade, you can sign up, get your membership, and then if you want to schedule it next week, you can find the coach you want to schedule with and book that initial assessment. And then our coaches can reach out through that app in a much more personal way to get that scheduled. So that is something we're really, really excited about that I know is going to help us manage engagement, attrition. Those launch appointments help our members, but they also help us set up personal training, initial extra testing, things along those lines. So long term, the biggest impact and what we focus on most as operators in any fitness facility is attrition. So that's the biggest goal, is it's going to help us manage our attrition, keep our members here. And then also second most important normally is revenue. It's going to help us continue to drive more revenue from our members and our non-members.
Molly, I think it's important what you said on the layered approach, because we didn't have to flip this upside down and know at midnight tonight, this is all going live. So the layered approach is key. Bringing in the memberships was step one, of course. You mentioned step two was the class schedule, and now it sounds like you're going into personal training and other services booking. Just to give everyone an idea, what type of membership count are we talking about there at Lake Nona Performance Club?
Yeah, we have just over 10,000 members, or about 3,700 memberships. So it was definitely a heavy lift. What's that?
Staff. How many total staff are working at the club?
Yeah, we have about 200, give or take, 200 employees here.
So this was no small undertaking. So I'd like to hear, about 6 months in, what's been the feedback from your members? And then on the second part, how about the staff?
Yeah, it's been well received. Staff, like any, just being really honest, if any of you are going to do this, the staff is going to be scared, right? Any transition, any integration, staff has to be on board first. So what we really focused on with our staff is, why are we doing this, right? I didn't decide this. We decided it based off of the positive impacts it was going to be able to have long term. And we had to continue to remind the staff of that as we got closer to this. All right, sending out the communication, we're switching, it's integrating. So the staff really had to be on board. And while worried in the beginning, I think identifying the value add that it's going to have for them on the back end, and then also our members, is important to continue to keep in mind and at the front of their minds. So staff is loving it now. I mean, it's so much easier. They can see people. They can do attendance as people are walking in Group X. Our coaches, their schedule, they can manage it from their phone. They're not having to log on, get in here, call the front desk. So staff is loving it. Members, feedback's been great. Like anything else, change is hard. Why are we changing this? So we did a very specific approach, and we sent out communication, had all of our staff talking about it in every class. They knew the day that it was coming and why we were doing it. And then right before we rolled it out, 2 weeks before, we held 101 kind of come and learning sessions for all of them. So they could come and just figure out what it is, sit down with our staff and understand it. So I think that is definitely something that eased the pain, because we have not had, knock on wood, really any negative feedback. People are happy with this transition, very happy with what it's offering them. And we saw an uptick. I mean, we've gone up 4 times the amount of people that are active on our Technogym app now than what was active on our My Wellness, because they didn't have to use it. We had Club Automation and we had My Wellness. So we're seeing just a huge uptick in the engagement and how many people are actively using that. So it's been great, Patrick.
So Molly, I would just like to jump in and first and foremost, just thank you for all of the knowledge and your leadership and really being a change agent for the industry and kind of leading the way in what these member experiences look like. You hit on a number of key items here. When you're rolling out any change in technology, the full team buy-in and the direction is driven by leadership, right? So you're leading it through for the long-term success of that organization. So we really appreciate your feedback. I think some really cool takeaways there. Thank you very much, Molly.
My pleasure. Yeah.
Next slide, Marissa. So I know we're running really short on time here, and I will make sure we're respectful of everybody's time, but I wanted to provide some key takeaways here. So the first thing that we discussed, right, very early in this webinar was going through operational efficiency via integration. So understand the data points that you want to move from member management to your third party to then drive the highest impact within your club. In that way, for example, in Lake Nona, it's pulling membership information into My Wellness. They automatically have an account. Further, even they can go through and integrate check-ins. Like there's scenarios of if they don't check into Lake Nona Performance Center within 14 days, they can move that information through My Wellness too. So there's further levels of integration, but pick those from member management to your third party that make the biggest impact, and also remove operational barriers. Molly hit on kind of the pain points, operational barriers to entry, removing those from members and making it easy for them to sign up for their Kickstart sessions and for their programs too as well. The next one I want to hit on is just an enhanced member and team member experience, and really drill into the team member piece. I'm sure there's a lot of operators and leaders on the call today. Your team will thank you for these integrations. They'll thank you for these processes that make them more seamless, and it makes it easier to do their job, to make an impact on the members that you have, not managing technology. At the end of the day, I have yet to see somebody join the fitness industry to manage technology. That just is not necessarily a thing, but it's a necessary evil of what we do today, because there's a lot of siloed platforms that we're running in our operation. There's a lot of disjointed processes. Take a step back and look at those, and your team members will, of course, return that to you for sure in a thank you. The last thing is increase the impact of your technology. This is where I'm challenging you to take a look at your web. Make sure you understand the technology that's impacting your business at this point. Look at what should be integrated and what will drive your business forwards. You'll create a foundation to jump from at that point. You already have these technology systems within your organization. As you start to integrate them and then connect members through those integrations, you'll increase the impact of the technology spend that you're already putting out. And potentially you have a scenario of reworking your forward business at the end of the day. So those three takeaways are just some I would like to provide to you. Next slide, Marissa. We will also offer the opportunity to connect with myself individually, Patrick individually, or Molly individually, just on any takeaways that you may have. One of the things that all of us love, especially coming from an operations standpoint, is how can we help impact your business based upon some of the things that we've learned. That's something that will help drive all of us forwards, will help drive the industry forward. So please reach out to us via email if you'd like to set up a call. I know Molly always offers visits to Lake Nona Performance Center. Sorry, Molly, for just throwing that out there. But if you'd like to go down to visit Lake Nona
Come on down.
Center, it's well worth your time to see the process in action. Molly leads a very well-oiled machine down there at Lake Nona Performance Center, and you can see integrations in action on how they affect the membership base. All right, 5 minutes over. Thank you all for joining today and for lasting those next 5 minutes after the 30 that we had planned. I appreciate you all, and I look forward to hearing from you soon. Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone.